Now that we've added the div tag for the container, we want to go back in and set up our other areas within the container. First of all, we want to make sure we save this. Notice how there's an asterisk here for the template and also an asterisk for the gallery layout. This also appears because we saved the layout and the look for the container in this style. So every time we open up the template, not only will it open up the actual file, plus it will open up the CSS as well. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to choose Save All. So this way it saves all the files related to this. Notice how the asterisk goes away. A couple things to note. First of all, when I click inside the container div here, it will show at the very bottom on the status bar, it will say body, div, and container. If I click away, notice how it does not show you that you're inside the container. So it's important that you are inside the container. Now, this placeholder text, content for class container, goes here. I'm going to erase the text here using my backspace key. Be careful that you don't actually delete the entire box. So if I click one more time, the C will disappear, the box will become very thin. If I were to delete or hit the backspace key one more time, I actually delete or could delete the div tag. In this case, I'm getting an error message. It would not let me to do that. I'm still inside the container. I now want to go back and add in my new region for my logo. So I'm going to choose div. My class will be logo. New CSS rule. Now, please check this. It must say gallery layout.css. This is where we want to save everything. Click on OK. This is where you can go back and make all your setting changes for the logo div. In this case, I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm only going to set up how big the box is. So I'm going to choose box, and the directions indicate that we have to change the width, the height, and then also the float location of the box, where it's going to go on the screen. So the width will be 300 px, height will be 75. Float will be left. So this should then bump up against the left of the container. I'm going to click on OK and OK one more time. So now we've added this in, and a couple things visually look different on your screen. First of all, I have a small box here in the upper corner. I no longer can see the entire box for the container. It's sort of disappeared. However, if I look down on my status bar, it shows me that I'm within, here's my logo div, I'm inside the div for my container. It's still there. At this point, we want to make sure we put in all the other containers or all the other divs within inside the container that I'm working in. So now, if I want to go back and I want to add in my next div, that will be for my navigation. I'm going to click to the right of my logo. I want to be still inside the container, but not inside the logo. This is where mistakes happen by people where they're putting divs inside of other divs. We're going to do this just once with the container. Everything goes inside the container. Within the container, everything has a starting point and ending point. So if I switch back to my code view, this is where my container starts, and this is where it ends. This is where my div for my logo starts, and this is where it ends. It's inside the container. So everything else should be inside the container, but separate. So here, if I'm in my code view, I'm going to click here after where my logo ends. I'll go back to my design view, and notice here it says I'm on the container. My cursor's right here. So now I'm going to add my next div tag. Insert div, and the class for this will be navigation. Use CSS rule. Make sure it says gallery layout CSS. Click on OK. Again, I'm not going to change all the settings here. I'm just going to make the box. So the box on this, the width and the height and the float will change on this. The width will be 500. The height will be 75. And the float will be left. Click on OK. And OK. So now this will have my navigation area set up. So all we're doing is we're defining the areas on our page. This should be all within the container. If I go back to my code view, here's where my container starts. Here's my div for my logo. It begins and ends. And my next one, the div for the navigation, starts and ends. Make sure that the navigation div is not inside the logo. We're only going to have a container. So it should look like this at this point in time.